Mm. Yeah. Um, so mine was a kind of a different approach or different project. I kind of looked at some kind of a review of methods that can be considered in automating surface irrigation systems. So, so here in Utah, there are places where surface irrigation is still used. For example, in my case, I know of Box Elder in the Corinne area. There are also other places in Delta, but I work in some fields in Corinne. Yeah, the alfalfa-based systems are still using surface irrigation. Farmers, I mean, in my understanding at least, are reluctant to shift to other systems that are considered to be efficient. But yeah, there are reasons there. The reasons are probably to do with if you convert to sprinkler-based systems, you may need to pump. So there are energy costs associated with that. That's why farmers are not, some of them are not yet ready to change. Um, so automation systems have got their place in surface irrigation. Um, so before we do that, in this project, I tried to sort of look at what systems can be uh, considered by farmers in Utah and at what possible stages in the irrigation system those systems can be used. And so that's what I tried to do. Um, so why do we need to even worry about automation? Um, you know, it has got its benefits. For example, you can achieve high efficiency or high performance with your irrigation systems. Farmers, basically, the moment who are not using automation, they know how to achieve that, but it takes a lot of monitoring, a lot of effort, a lot of labor for them to do it. And so they don't normally have that. As you know, there are cases of labor issues. Uh, there are labor shortages, and also there are also labor costs are increasing. So to get people to do that, it can be a difficult thing. So that's where automation can have its case, like taking care of certain tasks like closing valves, gates, for example, in surface irrigation. So we've talked about these issues. So automation can provide a platform, for example, for monitoring the systems, for them to remotely observe what is going on in the field, for example, and even operate the systems remotely. But here I'm not saying that if we introduce automation, we are guaranteed of high performance. It depends on a lot of aspects, but it provides at least an option for farmers to consider in trying to bring convenience in their operations and also maybe to minimize costs. So what are the factors from as I was going through my reading, I kind of distilled some sort of factors that can be used in determining the level of automation or type of automation that you can put on a farm. The type of water supply scheme, for example, if it is a fixed scheme, uh, you can't use, for example, an automation system for irrigation scheduling, for example, because you don't have control of when you get the water. So that also is a factor. The source of water which you are using can also be a factor there. If you have control of that source of water, let's say it's a farm dam, you can take water anytime you want. But if it is supplied by a canal company, for example, you have to follow a schedule, more or less related to the first point. The irrigation setup, here I'm thinking of, for example, when you are irrigating using surface, you may take water from the canal directly to a furrow or to a border, or you can use a pipe system like one of the guys mentioned, a piped, some of people call it an alfalfa pipe or something that you can link from the canal dish to the field. So it depends on irrigation setup. It also determines the type of automation that you can use or introduce in your system. For example, if you might want maybe to eliminate those siphons, there might be need for you to carry out some earth movement, and that can be costly. It's just an example. So it depends on the setup. And also farmer preferences. Some farmers are tech savvy, some are not. So some may not understand some of these or may not be comfortable with handling the automation systems. Um, Also the type of the farm system that the farmer is using. For example, the size of the operations, like we had in an interview, the farmer was saying, I only have a few acres, so I don't think I might need to invest in a lot. But if you have a big operation, for example, there's an area in enterprise where farmers are getting together and kind of uh, working together. So those under such circumstances, farmers can afford to introduce automated systems. Um, so there are other issues, for example, labor availability. If there's a lot of labor, some things that you can automate, you can just use the available labor to and avoid automation. If labor isn't available, then probably automation can be an issue that can save you. So these are the things, and also the attitudes of people. Some people may say, "Hey, we've been doing this for a long time. Why should we change to a new system?" Things like that. So these are the things that we can do. So what are the types of automation systems in irrigation? Um, yeah, I've just shared some few photos that I took from the field. I put some where I actually took photos from the field which I installed, but something didn't happen. I just to find some more. So these are just for sage irrigation. These are automation systems that can be used in canals. But so here, let me just try to go through this a bit. Systems can be automated for flow control. For example, here in a canal, you can measure what is going on. You can also even control with these systems. You can even put these automation systems on a flume, for example, or even on a pipe. And here, this is a sage gate valve that you put on a furrow, for example, or a border. You can just open it. This is actually being developed by a company owned by one of the Korean farmers who has developed this. He's actually installed the systems on his farm, and many other farms in Boxhill County are already buying these stuffs from his company, and they're installing in their surface irrigation systems. So you can use automation, for example, to track the flow of water along the furrow. Most of you guys who did the course with Dr. Barker on the phases of surface irrigation, when you can, for example, track the advanced phase using automation. There are systems that you can put there that can track, since when water arrives, then they trigger an alarm, so you get to know that water has reached a certain point. So we can do for flow tracking, flow measurement devices can be automated, where the monitoring systems can be automated, irrigation scheduling, soil moisture, you can automate sensors. They can they can gather information directly from the soil, maybe then send it to a server or just collect it on a local storage device. Then you can actually download the system. So there are so many ways we can automate. So I've listed them here. Then within the automation system itself, there are also components. For example, there are communication systems that you can use in automation. You can use network-based systems. Then you can use local systems where data is just stored on the actual gadget you are automating. For example, a soil sensor. You can have some wireless systems like SCADA systems, telemetry. Then you can even also use GPS. Maybe you can attach your GPS to your new line. Then you can link it to a certain system, maybe in your office or somewhere, so you can track the new line as it is moving. So if the new line stops for us for some reason, you can actually identify that new line has stopped, so you can then take other measures on the new line. So these are some of the communication systems that I came up. But then these communication systems have got certain some subsystems, like how they communicate. They can use Bluetooth is in the system, which is just a low-cost wireless way of transmitting data. You can use Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi as well, or radio signals. So these systems can then transmit the data to wherever you want that data to be transmitted. The data transmission can be in real time, or it can be periodic, or you can just go and download the data on your own on the systems. Then there are systems that are there also for processing the data that can be done using what they call microcontrollers or computers and things like that to process data and also help make decisions. Data can then be stored, this automation data in various systems in the cloud, network-based, server-based system, local systems, or on the gadget itself, say a soil moisture sensor, or in separate databases. So that's what I found there. Then there are interface systems, how you visualize the data. These can be site-based systems, like maybe a control office in at a farm, or it can be actually on the gadget itself. You can see if it has got a screen. So you can have remote-based systems which you can use also. Some can be used with mobile phones. For example, through a cell phone app, you can actually get to see the data on your. If you download an app, for example, for a soil sensor, you can then look at that from your phone. Just a photo of a screen. Then these systems can be remote-based systems, and also on those automation systems, they need power, so they can get power from um, from batteries. Batteries can be rechargeable, non-rechargeable, rechargeable, and most of these systems are put in remote locations. So sometimes it is good to just attach them to a solar panel, or if you have electricity, but that can dim. If you have grid electricity, you can do that, but it can increase the cost of linking the automation systems like sensors. So most of them can run on batteries, rechargeable, non-rechargeable, which can use solar, for example, is a source of power. So yeah, these are just some of the components, controller systems that are used there, display systems, GSM modules, where you can put a card for you to install, to store the data, for example. Then there are sensors. Basically, these are the data collectors. So it depends on what you want to do. Maybe you want to sense pH, soil moisture. You can use different sensors, or you may want to record flow of water. You can use different sensors. So, for example, if you want to uh, sense the depth of a well when you are pumping groundwater, you can use ultrasonic sensors, for example. These are just sensors that I just, or you can use sensors on valves and gates, on pumps, so that you can operate pumps and valves and gates, things like that. So, yeah, I will not go through these. These are just a further explanation of microcontrollers or systems that actually do the processing of the data. So I'm not going to go into detail about that, about type of control. But the other emerging things like Internet of Things, AI is coming in big time. So it will basically uh, maybe improve the way these systems are automated. So that's the point there. Um, so the pros and cons considerations for adoption in Utah, we've already talked about this. It depends on the goal of automation. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to save on costs? Do you want to increase efficiency? Things like that. So when farmers adopt these technologies, they look at those things. They also look at the effectiveness of the technology, the robustness of the technology, its convenience, and also where the data is stored. Maybe it's on a remote server, there will be data, maybe privacy concerns and things like that. So these are some of the factors that may impact on farmers in Utah adopting. So what are the impacts of automation, possible impacts to farmers? It could be, we've already mentioned these again, but just summarize. It can be labor, time, cost, increase in irrigation efficiency, saving water. For example, a topical issue about the Great Salt Lake. We can save water if we increase efficiency and have more water for ecological requirements, reduce pollution if we apply less water or the adequate water, we reduce the population losses that can result in pollution. There's this water optimization program can benefit a lot from this automation drive. Yes, so some of the reasons why we need to reduce water use or optimize water use, things like droughts, water shortages, they are becoming more frequent. So that's another case for automation. The water demand is increasing. There's a lot of urbanization going on also for example, in the Kutch Valley. So, and hopefully, the impact, the more direct impact to the farmers, maybe we hope it may improve profitability and sustainable farming to the farmers. Yeah, so basically, yeah, what can attitudes can affect, yeah, farmers can have attitudes, previous experiences with other technologies, and how the technologies influence, those can affect how farmers can adopt. Yeah. So in conclusion, um, automation goals later. Why? What is the purpose of automation? You can't just automate for the sake of automating. So you need to consider the goals. And also, the key message that I found in the literature also is that farmers are realists. They adapt what works for them. They don't just adapt technologies for the sake of it. And also, attitudes matter, what the farmers feel about things. And the technologies themselves need to meet farmers' needs and expectations, right? And also, anyway, in conclusion, the last thing I was saying that by integrating automation, hopefully we can reduce water waste or help reduce water waste, minimize environmental impact, and implement sustainable irrigation practices. Thank you.